Hi you guys, it's Belle Beauty here and welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can see, I'll be doing a full face tutorial on how I do one of my clients named Shayla. Thank you so much for letting me use your face. So as you can see, the first thing I'm doing is filling in the brows. I have brushed her hairs into place. They kind of grow in a really good direction already, so I just kind of groom them how they already are. And I'm using Dip Brow Pomade in Dark Brown by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and just an angle brush to fill them in. So when I'm doing my client's brows, I like to focus on light hair strokes and going in the direction in which the hair grows. And in her front, they just kind of stick up, and then her hairs behind it just kind of fall in a good direction away from the face or from the center of the face. And then I'm just cleaning up her brows with LA Girl Pro Conceal in Creamy Beige. And I'm just blending that out. And sometimes if you're doing a client's brows and you mess up, you may want to clean up the top. Don't clean up the top with the concealer. You don't want the electric eel eyebrows. You want to clean up the top with her foundation shade. So now I'm moving on to priming the eyelids. I'm using Ruby Kiss eyeshadow primer. I forgot the full name, but it'll be down in the description bar below. And I am just making an even canvas, and then I'm going back in with another eyeshadow primer by NYX. It's in a beige, it's kind of like a beige base, and I am just blending that out because I am kind of going to be using a matte eyeshadow, and it's kind of sheer, so I wanted to make sure that it shows up really nicely. So for her transition shade, I'm going in with a Morphe eyeshadow. I believe it's in the color named Spice. Don't quote me. But I'm just going to work that into her crease. And I love Morphe eyeshadows because they're completely buildable. And you see me going under her concealer with my finger because fingers are a great tool and they warm up the product really nicely. I don't want it to be stark and, electric looking at the front of her brows. So I don't want you to see where the concealer starts and the eyeshadow starts. So that's why I'm blending and going back and forth. The next thing I'm doing is going in with Saddle by MAC. And I like to have at least two or three transition shades in the crease because I want it to have a really nice gradient effect. I don't want it to look really choppy. I don't want you to see where it begins and where it ends. So this color is a little bit deeper than that orange color I just placed down. And I'm just building on layers here and going back and forth between the two colors. Next, I'm going to be placing down her eyeshadow color, her mobile lid color, I mean. It's in the color Tartelini by Tarte Cosmetics, and I'm just going to build this color. It's really, really, really sheer, and I didn't want to use Jumbo Pencil and Milk as a base because I felt like it was been too white, so I'm just building on this color with a regular eyeshadow brush and then reversing my steps with the blending and going back and forth between Spice and Saddle, I'm sorry. And then just making sure that color is to my liking or as pigmented as I wanted. So next I'm going into You'll Be Surprised. And I'm blending that in the outer corner and bringing it also into the crease a bit. And in a second, you're going to see me use Swiss Chocolate by MAC because I felt like I needed another transition color in the crease because it just wasn't flowing really good to me. And that's a really good tip. If you feel like your colors are becoming choppy, blend them and also add another transition shade in between those colors. You don't want it to, not be to your liking. So this is where I'm adding Swiss Chocolate, and I am just kind of putting it on top of Spice and Saddle. And don't be afraid to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I did the other eye already, and here I'm just adding cream liner with an angle brush. This is, I forgot the name, but it's just a black cream gel liner by e.l.f. Cosmetics. And I'm not doing a wing liner. I'm just doing a thin line because she's taking professional pictures today and I didn't want it to be too dramatic. And then I'm adding Lashes by Hollywood Eyelashes, I believe it's called, just for a kind of a natural look. And here I'm priming the face with Becca Ever Matte Poreless Primer, just to make sure any oil that's going to come through is going to be reduced. And I'm adding her foundation now. This is Black Opal Foundation Stick in the color Truly Topaz. And in a second, I'm going to realize that, dang it, girl, you forgot to color correct. She has a lot of freckles, which I love, but I didn't want them to show through her foundation. I wanted her canvas to be nice and smooth, and it's almost here. You're going to be like, really, girl? So you forgot to color correct? Okay. But I'm just blending her foundation out right here. I'm blending her foundation out with a Real Technique sponge. You can get these two for $10 or $11 at Ulta. And so I'm just using LA Girl Pro Conceal Orange Corrector to hide some of her freckles and any under eye bags or anything like that, and blending that out with a sponge as much as I can. And then I'm going to go back and blend the foundation color, or the foundation that I put on her already. And I add more than one layer of foundation because when you're taking pictures, you want your skin or your client's skin to be flawless, and you want it to be even. You don't want any of her skin or any blemishes to show through the foundation. And you also want to make sure you are getting the neck as well. I don't think I showed that, but I'm just adding that same concealer on underneath her eyes, that creamy beige, with a Real Techniques brush, just creating like a little triangle, I guess. And as the foundation settles into her skin, you'll see that it is, you know, her perfect shade. It looks a little bit off right here, a little bit. Why did I do her nose highlight so wide? I don't know. But I'm just blending that into her skin, and blending takes a lot of time. So when you're blending someone else's foundation, if you don't know if it's blended good enough, girl, keep blending. If you don't know, just keep on going. And you want to go back and forth. Like as you can see on the under eyes, I'm going back and forth because I don't want the foundation, or the concealer to crease, and I don't want to pack it all in one place. So I'm going back and forth as I was blending her under eye concealer, and I'm adding a little bit more because you can't see on camera, but a little bit of her skin was showing through from when I wasn't able, or I didn't color correct initially. So here I'm just blending, blending, blending. It's speeded up, but I probably blended her face for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to bake her face using Sacha Cosmetics Buttercup Setting Powder. I use this on myself and my clients as well. It's really good. The payoff is great, especially when you're taking pictures. And while she's baking, I'm just dusting away that extra powder from her brows. And she's just sitting here chilling and baking. And I used to use Ben Nye until I discovered Sacha. Nothing against Ben Nye. I just think it works a lot better for women of color. It has less of a yellowy undertone to me, so it works better with the melanin. And I'm just dusting away that excess powder that I had on her face. And as you can see, her face is looking really one-dimensioned right now. So next I'm going to be contouring using Beautiful Bronze by Black Opal Cosmetics. Have your client make the fish face and follow her natural curves in her face. And I'm going on the hairline, and you do not have to contour everyone's forehead and everyone's nose. Some people already have a pretty small forehead, so if you're contouring their forehead, you're taking away the highlight and everything like that. So everyone does not need a forehead contour, but I'm contouring her forehead just to make it appear a little bit smaller. And I'm going back in with my Real Technique, back and forth between my Real Technique sponge and that angle brush to make sure it's blended well. And then I'm using MAC's Blunt to contour her nose with a pencil brush. I found that using a pencil brush is so much more precise to me when I'm contouring my clients' noses and different things like that. And there are different ways you should contour your client's nose. Everyone does not need you to go all the way up to the, inner brow bone and different things like that. So here I'm just going over her contour with MAC's Blunt as well, just to set the cream. You always want to, if you're using any cream, you always want to set it with a powder. And then I'm using MAC's Mineralized Skinfinish just to give her a nice bronze look. I wish I would have reverse contoured her face, but I didn't realize I needed to do that until like when I was editing. So it still came out pretty nice. So I'm just bronzing her face, giving her a little bit of warmth, and I'm going in with Champagne Pop to give her a little glow and a button nose. And then I lined her lips with MAC's Night Moth, and I'm going in with Flat Out Fabulous by MAC. And I always need to line my client's lip because I do not want to mess up their lipstick. And then I went back in with MAC Mineralized Skinfinish to put on her brow bone, sprayed her with some Fix Plus. And here's her before, and here's her after.